jumping up here?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Totally. Okay. We're just jumping up right here.
All right, Becca is in frame. She's gonna do a cool yoga flip into the water.
Rosie gets so concerned.
Looks like she's done this many times. And she's going in to the water. Woo! How cool is that? That's awesome. Here, Luke. Can I switch you? Yeah. When I'm podcasting, it's easier to navigate with a. I think that's probably why I'm gonna keep that one.
Yeah.
Hello, mate.
Just because I'll have more options. Because we're podcasting, like me sitting on my board with the kayak paddle is like
Easier.
ideal.
Yeah.
This is such a cute perspective.
But I haven't fully made my decision yet. But I'm gonna. This is my.
You got time.
Yeah. I hesitate with a lot of things. Notice how long it took me to get my ideal paddleboard. Right?
You gotta.
I like things to
You
be.
gotta workshop it.
That's how I am. That's why I still don't have a job.
You gotta silence it.
Party barge.
Party bar.
Appreciate you guys. This is fun.
In the sun.
We're all together. Okay, yeah. Gotta get your tan on.
Well, I
your-
just got wet. and
You're
so
invited.
now it's
Oh yeah,
cooler.
you need to get. Well, what are we thinking? Coasting or just right there?
Yeah,
I
I
really-
just want to be in the sun.
Okay.
I just don't want to be pushed.
I really want. Well, I'm not gonna force it.
Jason's ready.
When you feel inspired, the story is amazing.
You're building it up too much.
Well, no, it stands on its own, man. It stands on its own. It's like a scene in a movie, man. Like,
Kinda.
yo, yeah, it's awesome. It's pretty great. It's been a minute. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, like 2 weeks.
That's a lot's happened.
Yeah,
Lots happened.
that's what you're saying.
Yeah. I love it though. I love my life right now is so good. It's like so many things happening. You know what's amazing is out of all the conferences when we do story time, like you got to go too, man. Just saying, like I don't know. I think what we need to do is go more that way because the current's going to take us into the shade again.
Yeah.
So if we go that way,
That's on you. Pull us that way.
oh, look at Becca taking charge. Strong, independent woman. I can't say the word. Captaining?
Captaining.
Is that a word even?
Captaining.
Cap-
Captaining.
Captaining the party barge.
Hey, what's happening?
That's pretty good. I see you. I see what you did there.
I'm so funny.
You are funny. You are funny, Becca.
Man, do you just love it when you crack yourself up?
We're in a happy
That's
place.
so easy. That's
Yeah.
nice for you.
So you ready for the tail?
Yeah, but let me get the mic closer.
Oh, wow. I haven't seen the mic yet.
Yeah, I've I always step it up, but I'm gonna. It shuts off every 30 minutes, so. All right, Luke, if you're ready to tell the tale.
I'm a little preoccupied with this
do-
dead rat mic you got going on here.
The dead rat mic. This blocks the wind.
Oh, okay. Less ambient sound. Nice.
Yeah, so
And you can just
it's been winning so far.
flop it. I'm
That's
surprised
not good.
Rosie hasn't attacked it yet.
Oh, she doesn't really do toys.
Okay.
She's the best dog ever.
Anyway,
That's true about me.
yeah. Tale of why I no longer skydive. I guess it kind of starts with the first time I went skydiving, 22nd birthday, I think it was. Back in Ohio. It was great. Did the tandem thing, strapped to a dude's chest, loved it. Tried to get him to do like as many tricks as he was willing to do. And yeah, just like fell in love with it. But it's super expensive, so I didn't like do it a whole bunch at that
Sure.
point.
You didn't dive in, so to speak.
Right. Good one.
Becca, you're killing it.
And then I, years later, settled out here in Portland, and learned about skydiving just out of Molalla down there, and decided to give that a go with a bunch of friends. For the second time, did the second tandem. Like, yep, this is totally a thing. I want to like get into it, and did a bunch of research of like, because I want to do like the squirrel suit, like the wingsuit dealies. So cool. Still want to do it, but
Minor setback.
knowing what I know now about my body, that'll never be a thing.
Yeah.
Because you have to do like thousands of jumps
Right.
to be
Right.
like
To get to
certified
squirrel
or
suit
whatever
level.
to get to that point. But at that point, I was like, yes, this is going to be a lifestyle part of my life kind of a thing. So I started figuring out like what is needed to do that. And the first step is the accelerated freefall class, which is like a 7 jump course to certify you to jump solo. So at the end of this thing, you're like good to go. And skydiving's a lot cheaper at that point because you're not like strapped to somebody else. So yeah, signed up for the class and showed up for the first session. There were like 4 of us, and they put you through this like 2 or 3 hour course where they teach you all the things, the circle of awareness, all the body position, like how to adjust, and all the like likely potential scenarios of like how your chute might deploy if it's all like messed up, and how to write it so you don't die. You know,
Good.
the little details,
It's a little detail.
right?
Circle of awareness?
Circle of awareness, yeah. So it's like checking your altimeter, which is your altitude.
Yeah.
Checking your surroundings, making sure that you're like level with the horizon,
Mm.
and looking for like other jumpers around you, things like that. Checking your body position, and at that point, also checking in with your jump guides. So go through the class, practice the
Let me pause. I feel like every morning we should wake up with that mentality. What's my circle of awareness today?
definitely
Anyway, that's
Yeah.
just a little.
self check in
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Did I just facilitate the conversation?
a little bit.
A little bit. Sorry. It's my facility.
That
Is my.
That was just a chime.
I'm chiming in. Yeah. Yeah. I'm being a little self-critical. Okay. Keep going.
Now you're facilitating yourself.
I am totally. Yeah. Keep going. I love it.
Yeah, so we go through the class, learn all the skills, and then we're going up, getting ready for our first jump. And for your first jump, they jump you with 2 guides. They put you in this like jump suit, full body suit with like handles on it, on your like torso and on your legs and things. So the 2 guides that jump with you, they're not attached to you, but they jump with you, and then they like grab onto your suit, so you're like connected the whole way. And then they can like manipulate you if you're not
Getting
doing
weird. Yeah.
getting funky.
Getting a little silly.
Yeah, so going up, getting in position, and the position that you immediately get into once you jump out of the plane is this like arms overhead and chest like trying to arch your back as much as you can, like push your body weight down and kind of have a low center of gravity kind of a thing. So I get into this position, jump out of the plane, and immediately dislocate shoulder. I think it was the left one.
Do you-
Immediately.
Do you want to chime in with like that's a thing with your body? Like.
Yep. Yeah. Had a history. Well, have a history. It's
Yeah.
not much of a history as much as just a current, every
It's a thing that happens.
so often thing that happens. Yeah.
Because you're like you have joints that are.
I am hyper mobile, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. In some of my joints, not all my joints, but yeah, especially my shoulders.
And hypermobile means like if you could define that like
Loose joints.
Yeah, loose joints is kind of the easy
of
way.
all joints in your entire body, or like is it genetic, or like how does that work?
I mean, it's kind of genetic, I think. I don't know too much about it,
Okay.
but it's just kind of a physiological trait that.
And
certain
can you
percentage
show?
of
Can you
population
show
has.
us like on your? Didn't you do something with your fingers where they?
Oh, where you can like bend it back. you know.
Yeah, there it is. So that's is that getting captured? Like that's
That's
hypermobile.
like one of the
That's
indicators.
messed up.
Yeah.
That so right.
You can-
That's important to like for this story, like to realize he's hypermobile.
Yeah. Not in like every direction on all the joints, but
That gets grossed out.
anyway.
So that's right.
So that's
So
been
that
a
happened.
thing. But I figured like I'd been jumping twice.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an issue.
Sure.
So why would it be an issue?
Exactly.
But yeah, I guess the difference between going tandem versus going solo.
Probably more
isn't
like
enough.
probably because there's more range of motion because there's not somebody on your back.
Yeah, I
and
don't have anybody.
yeah. So that now it's gonna go
restricting.
farther.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, hypermobile and jump out of the plane. Also, history of dislocation. So like the other thing with dislocating your shoulders is like the more you do it, the easier it is to happen the next time. Yeah, jump out, dislocate, and immediately like have this moment of okay, what now? You know, and at that point you're falling like what is it, 1,000 feet every 5 seconds, and we're jumping at like 13,000 feet. So you got 65 seconds.
No, like this is
I know.
okay. I just need feedback that you understand. Like,
I'm with it.
okay.
I'm waiting to hear what he did.
I'm sorry.
Process.
I wanted
Waiting
some.
for what happens next.
I wanted some some physical response. Like, are you
He-
listening?
He already said that it happened, so now I'm waiting to hear what
Okay,
happened.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've already reacted to the shoulder.
Oh, you
being
did?
an issue.
Okay.
That was like
Okay.
5 minutes
Sorry, that
ago.
was the
And then
moment- yeah, I didn't
And then
catch-
we talked about like why. So then you were like,
Okay, I'm the
Okay.
slow one. I'm catching up. Okay.
Zooms into myself.
Yeah.
I'm just like completely focused mainly on myself and my shoulder, and kind of lose awareness of the skydiving aspect for the first minute.
Yeah.
Well, not minute, but like moment, I guess. And like didn't even realize that my guides had jumped with me, and they're like right next to me, holding on to me, doing what they're supposed to be doing. And I'm doing none of the things that I'm supposed to be doing. Like none of the circle
body's
awareness
just
checks in.
reacting.
Yeah, I'm just like in free fall mode. And I remember looking at them once and seeing them like make some sort of a hand signal, and I try to like make an adjustment with my body, but then I'm like, I don't know what to do next, you know? Because the way the parachute is designed, the pull cord was like slightly to the left, and my left shoulder was the one that was out, so I couldn't put my arm back to deploy the chute.
Sorry, I feel like I'm eating popcorn with Becca watching a movie. Right? Like,
it's like whenever I do
I know.
that, whenever I do that, it's like I talk through the movie, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, shut up, pay attention, shut up.
no, I know. I'm totally that guy right now. I
And then they're like,
This is the good
I'm
part.
listening.
no,
you're
I'm
the one
totally-
talking.
okay.
No, be more quiet. Be more quiet.
This is like this story is amazing, Luke. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am not doing any of the like circle of awareness communication stuff that I'm supposed to be doing, hand signals, all that kind of
Because
stuff.
you can't.
Yeah, you're
You physically can't.
Right, yeah, pretty much.
fight or flight. You're in fight.
Yep.
You're in like, what do I do?
I'm in, I guess,
Yeah.
flight and fight at the
Yeah.
same time.
You're literally
technically,
flying.
I
But
guess.
even if you were at peace, you physically can't make your arm
Yeah,
show a sign.
yeah. So, moments later, I look at like my altimeter and see that it's like at 4,000 feet. So I've got like another, 20 seconds or something like that.
Jesus.
Right?
And I'm looking at my guides. I peer over at either of them, and like there's no communication other than hand signals. Like there's no radio.
Right.
You can say all you want, but they're not going to hear a thing, Like I could yell at the top of my lungs, and they're literally like right here and right here, and they wouldn't hear a word of it. So they have no idea what I'm going through,
Right.
and I can't tell them what I'm going through,
Icky.
and their eyes are just like,
Why I will never do
bug-eyed,
something like this.
So everybody's eyes are bug-eyed,
pretty much.
and they're like, WTF? Like,
Right. Like this
What's
kid,
going on?
This kid just went through this training. Why is he doing none of the things?
Yeah.
Which they probably have seen before. Maybe. I don't know.
Probably.
All the people that get excited about a thing and then
Yeah.
jump in too fast,
Yeah.
dive in too fast.
okay, yeah, I see
Right.
on that
Anyway.
level, yeah,
Beside the point.
yeah.
So fortunately, like seconds later, one of them pulls my chute and it deploys.
That's why they're there.
Yeah.
And so why I'm curious is why didn't that chute get pulled earlier?
Well, so like
It sounds like they did it
the-
exactly when they needed to.
The 6,000 to 4,000 zone is where you're supposed to pull your chute.
Okay.
So
then
yeah,
they waited for him to do it, and then he didn't, and so then they did.
right, and like
Okay, so they did it. Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it sounds like.
That was like-
Becca's
yeah.
smarter than me. Good
Yep.
job.
They were like, "Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna do it?
Well,
Are you gonna do it? Are
right,
you gonna do
and
it?
it's
Are you gonna
like
do it? Are you gonna?" And
10
you're like, "I can't do it! I
seconds.
can't do it! I can't do it! I can't do it!
Exactly.
I can't do it!"
All
That's
right,
what happened.
And
thanks.
that's in-
That's how I need to learn. Thank you for
span of
dumbing
10
it down for me.
And then they're like, "You can't do it," and you're like, "No, I can't do it."
They pulled the cord.
yeah.
They pulled the cord.
Yes,
That's where we're at with the story.
And the chute deploys, but the canopy doesn't open.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Plot twist.
that's the
One after
The
another.
plot twist wasn't recorded
I
last
did
time.
not see that
The double
coming.
plot twist.
Yeah, the canopy doesn't open, so it's like not only all this, but
Right. Yeah. If enough
really did
hadn't
not see
gone wrong already,
yeah.
one more thing to add to the list.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking up at it, like trying to tug on it and open it up, and with one arm. And yeah, seconds later it does open up and deploys. But then you've got two toggles to steer yourself. You pull the toggle and it turns. You pull the other toggle and it turns. And I got one hand, so I'm like trying to steer
Oh,
this
it's like-
thing.
Oh,
You
there's
know?
another layer. See, every time the story gets better. It's the second.
Just when you think you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You're like Zoolander. You can only turn left.
I'm not an MB
Becca,
treasure.
you are
I'm on
killing it with the funny punchlines tonight. Like, what is the deal?
Yeah. And so yeah, I had to like one arm steer myself back into the landing zone and go in and do a super messy landing, and I just flop and just lay there, and the canopy like covers me and just like hides me from everybody. And then they all come over to me and like ask me why I'm just laying down, because the whole time they had no idea
They want to know.
what's going on. Right? Yeah.
They want to know. They're
like-
super curious.
What happened? Get up! Like, why are you just laying there? Yeah, and that's when I tell them I've dislocated my shoulder at 13,000 feet.
Immediately.
Dislocated
Like,
your
instantly
shoulder at
dislocated your
13,000
shoulder.
feet, and
Yeah.
nobody knows except
And-
you.
And it
Yeah.
happened so fast. That's like the craziest part is it's like, yeah, it happened
Yeah.
initially. Like
Yeah.
as soon as you dropped, it sounded like as soon as you got.
Was I wrong how crazy the story is? Like, this needs to be a
it's a
scene.
crazy story.
It needs to be a scene. Like, if they made a like Luke's movie life.
Like,
Oh,
story.
that would be one of the major moments.
Biopic.
Yeah,
for sure.
right?
Yeah.
So that's
A big event.
A big
Yes.
event. And so then it gets even more interesting with the ambulance. Like,
Oh, right. So, like, they're not willing to. No one's willing to drive me to the hospital. Liability and all that kind of stuff. So I've got to wait like another hour till the ambulance comes.
Annoying.
the worst thing.
Annoying.
Laying there, you know, with a dislocated shoulder. And,
Oh, that's so uncomfortable.
yep.
Whenever my knees have dislocated, the way I describe it to people is just like nausea in the joint. That's like how I don't know if you're similar. That sometimes is very sharp. That's how I've described it as the
I never
sensation.
thought about it that way.
It's like my knee would feel nauseous.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's frustrating where you should have been taken care of. Like that access of
Surely, like, Good Samaritan laws protect people
So-
for, like,
so-
giving rides to the
so-
hospital.
that seems to be like a system problem
Yeah.
in the States where it's like, can we just tweak that a little bit? Thank you, Luke. You're awesome. Thank you for that story.
It's a bummer we didn't get. Like, that's such a good story, and it would have been cool to, like, dig into lessons.
Yeah, I bet Luke has to go.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
got a boogie.
Luke's got a boogie. Okay,
Gotta go on a date.
gotta go on a date. I'm so bummed that part got cut out though. But whatever, because it was so genuine. It was so
we
genuine
had
that
such a good reaction.
yeah. But whatever. That's the the trials of
We
podcasting.
both had like a really.
Yeah, that's the trials of podcasting. I'm learning you can't win them all. So, but I'm doing it, so it doesn't matter. Luke, we love you. You are loved.
Do elbow, wrist, wrist.
Elbow, wrist. I'm not doing it right,
You're
but
not doing it right at
just
all.
know you're loved.
Oh!
Becca, you're better at that than me.
Elbow, wrist, wrist.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what I'm.
Here, it's here.
I don't want to learn.
Come here.
I don't wanna-
Just humor me.
Okay.
Okay.
As I'm like, you're better than. But what I wanted to talk about, that first part will be edited out. Which is awesome about how this has evolved. Like, I was so against editing, but now I'm like, oh, I get
Oh,
it.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Through
That's
doing
not a
it, I'm
big
like,
deal.
yeah, I need to edit.
Yeah.
I don't have the.
I don't think it's a problem.
Well, and the thing is like, I don't have a studio. If I had a studio, people could show up ready, right? But the nature of my podcast is like on the fly. People aren't like,
It's a more organic type of.
yeah. And so to be fair to them, I need to edit because they're not prepared to filter themselves
Right.
how they want to be filtered. So I'm learning from how my platform is organically evolving. I have to edit. Actually, I really enjoy editing. Like,
It's fun, right?
yeah, like I enjoy it. So why not?
Yeah.
So that's the jam I'm doing this with.
Because that's part of the creation.
Yeah, exactly. It's a creative process, right? With all that, and it's still rolling. Hopefully, we talked a while ago about storming, norming, forming, performing, and I was like, man, I wish that was recorded. So I was wondering if you could do the spiel.
One day.
If you could do the spiel,
Yeah.
I would really like that to be recorded, not only for the channel, but also just I feel like there's so much depth to that on a personal level, I just want to learn more about it because I've already learned about it, but I think there's so many layers to it where it's profound to me. So
Did I tell you the first time that I learned about the storming norming?
no,
Was that one of the plant therapy trainings?
just dive in however you want to. I'm gonna put this right here if that's
Yeah,
okay.
I also really want to get that Cheeto bag.
Okay,
That's a side
we'll
thing
get
that
it.
I have going on.
Oh yeah, we'll totally get
Just
it.
wanted to share that.
Yeah, we'll totally get that Cheeto bag.
Yeah, so forming, storming, norming, performing are 4 different stages of a group, and all different like sizes of groups will go through those 4 stages at different points. So that could be just 2 people, so like just you and I, like the 2 of us are a group, or it can be like as a society. So it's that far of a spectrum, and then everything in between. So as small as 2 people, and then as large as a global community, which is crazy to think about. And in a global community, there are so many people that we're pretty much constantly storming. But it's all groups go through these 4 phases. And the first one, so typically a group will start at forming. Again, that doesn't always happen. If you start in conflict, you might start in a storming phase. But the forming phase, we're just going to go through like how groups typically form. So if you're looking at like a work group or a friend group, these are typically what you'll see is the forming stage, which is when everybody's kind of getting to know each other. It's really fun. You're putting on your like the best version of yourself as you see it. So it's all of this fun, like lighthearted type stuff. When you meet someone, you put your best front forward. So that's where
You're not meeting them. You're meeting their best representative, as
Yeah.
Chris Rock would say.
yeah, you're putting like what
Yeah.
you see as the best version of yourself.
Yeah,
out
for sure.
first.
Yeah.
So that's where the forming stage is. So it's a lot of like silliness and probably a lot of silliness and like fun and
Yeah.
and then typically the next stage that we're gonna go in is forming is going to be often storming. So that's when as your colors start to show a little bit more, you're going to you're going to start to notice where colors start to clash a little bit, and that's where the storming comes in. So as you start to like kind of deviate and like show more sides of yourself, and they maybe don't go with somebody
Oh, guess what?
else's.
I'm not perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you think you are still, and somebody else notices that you're not.
Yeah.
And so that's where the storming is going to show
Oh,
up.
that's well said. Yeah.
It depends. So maybe you're outing yourself as not perfect, or maybe somebody else notices something about you
Yeah.
that they don't like. And that's where the storming is going to come in.
Yep.
And then from there, it's fluid. So it's not a straight line. These like 4 different stages of a group, you're not necessarily going to go through those. So you could go back to forming at that point, or you could go forward to norming. So norming is when you start to like accept these things, and you start to learn how to respond to the clashes in a more productive way.
Accepting. That's the hard one.
It's where you're starting to, and so it's not necessarily happening all the time, but it's normalizing those things and kind of accepting them.
Yeah.
So it's like it's that learning stage where you're learning these things and how they make you respond, and then kind of like normalizing them. And then
Is it like, well, I definitely accepted you when you were showing your best self, and now I'm like, oh, do I still accept you?
Yes.
Okay, I
Yeah,
still
yeah,
accept
yeah,
you
yeah,
after I
yeah.
see you're not
figuring
perfect.
that out exactly.
Yeah.
And
am I still willing to
when you're
engage
in
with you?
storming, you're having a moment where you're like, I don't think I do.
Yeah. No,
Like,
yeah.
I think this is a problem.
And if you're on an expedition, you don't have a choice.
Right. And in a lot of times where you're in a group like this, you could bail. You could leave the group at storming, right? So
Yeah.
it's like you could be at a training and you're
Well,
with this group, and
like-
you could meet someone you don't like, and you could be like, I'm done.
Well,
I'm gonna go.
And just a side note to Rabbit Trail a little bit, like with social media, when it gets to that phase, you're like, oh, unfollow, block.
Yeah.
But when you're in proximity and you have to be working,
You've paid for a training.
you pay for a training, or
thousands
you
of dollars.
work together.
Yes.
Or you're going on an expedition, and so this is where I'm like, this is
Or
where
it's a friend of a friend, and you're going to come across them again.
yeah,
you know?
this
Like, in a
is
more
this is
casual
where
thing.
social media ends and real life starts, or real life continues.
Yeah.
This is where you have to have proximity. You have to go through that phase, like, and it's hard phase, so we hide behind social media.
Sure.
So anyway, little side note.
Yeah,
Am
definitely.
I accurate on that?
I think so.
Okay.
I think in some ways, yeah. I think some people continue to fight it, but I think there is an option there to like unfollow or like block or like not continue to be in a group. I try to, when I clash with somebody like on social media, I try to stay there, and then I just like adjust, and so create like a new normal within the relationship. But it's hard, and different people respond differently.
I think that's another rabbit trail. I don't think you can have a real relationship on social media.
It's a means to an end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not.
So
yeah.
so see it for what it is, and then follow through with running through the process of
Yeah.
these phases in proximity. So yeah, I see the pros and cons, but
Yeah.
it's all about balance.
It is all about
Balance and seeing
truly.
it for what it is. Sorry, continue. I'm
So no, that's norming is there's a lot of layers within that one, because it's it comes later. And so then again, as I said, it's not a linear process, so you can move back forward from there. So you can go from norming, then maybe go back into storming, and or you could go all the way back into forming if somebody new joins the group, or if you're like learning a new part of yourself even, then it might go back into forming. But it's going to be a more dynamic progression through these 4 stages. And then the last one is performing, which is that place where all of us want to be, where you're being productive and there's positive change being made, and it's the like where you've learned each other's the things that you don't like and the things that you don't like about yourself, and you've learned how to accept them, and then to respond in like a productive way. And you've learned to constantly be learning and growing from
Can I highlight something you just said?
Yeah. Please.
The part where you said you're accepting the parts you don't like about yourself, because that stage is showing you parts that you don't like about yourself, and you're probably super like, whoa.
Yeah.
I was not asking for this or prepared for this.
I read something in I think it was in one of my books this year, something that, gosh, I'm not gonna remember exactly what it said, but it said that like things when you're annoyed with somebody and somebody else, more or less, that's showing you something that you don't like about yourself.
Yeah, something you haven't accepted about
Yeah,
yourself.
I don't remember
Yeah.
exactly how it's worded, but something
No.
along those lines.
I think that's an important realization.
Yeah, which I think comes, like, you see that in these stages, that when you're in storming, you're learning about the other person and things you don't like about them, and that teaches something about you as well.
Yeah. See, that's why it's important to stay in the struggle.
Stay in the group, right.
Stay in the group. That's why expeditions, you there's no out. You're climbing a mountain together.
You're in.
You're in. And that's what makes it so hard, but also so great.
It can be dangerous also,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Because part of the group, when you're on an expedition and you're outdoors, part of the group is the elements and, like, the landscape, right?
Correct. Yeah. So you got to be, if you're guiding that, you have to navigate a lot. Like, hold space enough to, like, let people be frustrated and struggle, but also not so much where they're going to rebel and
Yeah, the group
and
just
cause
becomes not
danger.
dynamic. The group becomes so dependent on, like, the land that you're traveling through that it becomes a part of the group itself.
And that's living direct. Like,
Yeah.
you're seeing. Yeah. Anyway, that's a different topic. But okay, what stage are we in?
Who? That was all of them. So
That was all of them?
before.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah.
What
and
about
I
the
can't
euphoric-
stress enough.
The euphoric, isn't there a
So
euphoric
that's-
stage?
So you came up with that yourself.
No, I learned that.
Okay, so that's
In-
something you learned. That's something that I don't know. I know about the four.
And
I
she.
thought that was something that you, like.
No. It was something she brought up, and I paid attention to it because I've experienced that myself. And
Which I think is so would be past the performing stage.
yeah, and what's kind of fleeting
like
about
this-
it's a slice of heaven. Like, it's that moment where
Or
you're
is that performing? Is that what we're thinking of?
maybe,
We might
but
be thinking
but
of the
it's
same thing.
there's a point where
Often you don't stay there.
well, there's a point where the group is performing. Maybe they're meeting a goal together, and it's fun, but you're still being productive. You're doing something together. But there's also the slice where nobody's doing anything, and you're gelled, and you're just enjoying being without doing. And she would call it, where this person I learned it from, the euphoric phase, which is she put it in a pie graph. It's this really small
I'm guessing
slice.
it's like a sliver within performing.
Yes, it is a sliver within performing.
Yeah.
Accurate, yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's just like you're blissed out you're all together, fully, just in full acceptance of each other, and seeing the beauty within yourself and others, like not perfectly, but at a high level, and then everyone's resting in that
Yeah.
and experiencing it. It's bliss.
Yeah. In the mental health world, the groups can be really tricky because often the groups that you're maybe, like, facilitating change so often. So
Yeah.
like you're having people come and go. So it's like you
That-
constantly
Constantly.
go back into forming, and maybe
exactly.
you had a group that was in norming or performing, and
Yeah.
then you add a new person, and then they
Yeah, and then within
might
that-
go back to forming.
Yeah, and then within that, you're navigating ego
Mm-hmm.
and, like, so many layers. And so I think when all is said and done, it just brings importance to, it's important to be around people and different people often. I would die on that hill.
Yeah, being around different people often.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's your jam.
I just see benefit in it
Mm-hmm.
for myself, and then people that do that, I'm like, it just seems to be a good cure for a lot of.
Are you sure you're an introvert?
Yeah. Like, introvert's my home. Like, being alone in the forest I find peace and rest there. And that gives me fuel to be around different people, because I'm not dependent. When I'm at home, I have freedom to be around different people because I know my home base. Because then I'm free to experience. It's kind of hard to say, but, like, it's like my anchor, right? Like, I'm anchored in the forest alone, and then from that place of peace and bliss, I know I can find peace and bliss there.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, that's you're defining, like, introversion, right? It's like, where do you go to, like, restore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It brings me home, and then from there, I'm like, okay, I can navigate, because people are a lot.
There's so much.
There's so much, and so, like, if
So
if I'm at the whim of other people's drama, it's like then I can't be around different people. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it
Like
gives
you need to take that like, personal space.
yes, correct.
Yeah.
But it's symbiotic because I find so much joy and benefit around having the freedom to be around different people, but I can only find that alone in the forest or filling that tank alone in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to be in the forest. There's something about me in the forest where it's just like instantly I'm like,
It's a good thing you work at
yeah, it's
Phillips course in the trees.
yeah.
See what you did there.
Well, it was given to me. I'm just participating with it.
Yeah.
I didn't put this on a vision board. I mean, vision boards are great, but I think there's an element of
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like I like my end game in mental health is to like have a program that does brings like horses and wilderness experiences and art, right? And those are like my 3 safe spaces.
yeah.
And then it's like I know that like working in mental health is going to take a ton out of me, and I picture it being a lot more sustainable for myself if throughout the day I'm able to like take a moment to recover with a horse. You know what I mean? Like in between sessions, if I could just be like,
That's your sacred space. I think he has the same paddleboard as you.
I don't have that good a vision. There was somebody the other day with one when Chelsea and I came that had this one that was like over at Boat Ramsey. She didn't notice me, but I noticed her.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, stages of a group, man.
I'm going to listen to that and re-listen to that because I think there's so many layers. And I want to put that more into my world of how I give my world, I guess.
When
It's a good matrix of explanation. I like creating really accessible ways for people to understand profound things. And I'm meeting with someone who, my cousin's wife, she works in a psych ward.
Oh, that's right.
In Newburgh, and she is in the trenches of the trenches.
Yeah.
And so like pressure brings diamonds, right? So she's been under like the extreme pressure of mental health and what it means to like help somebody, multiple different kinds of people with their mental health. And so she's put it into a very accessible diagram that she hasn't made yet, but she explained it to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is, you have made a diamond of a thing.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that Saturday. And I want to work with her to like put that on, like actually make a diagram with it, because I'm a big fan of empirical evidence and someone who's like been through in it. Like you are the proof of the pudding. You're not just this like on your own thinking through.
Right.
You like been in the trench. Like this is valuable.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that.
Can I tell you about my job interview tomorrow?
Yeah, totally.
It's with LifeWorks Northwest, which is like a big mental health agency in this area. And the position is with the TAEUS program, which is transitioning into adulthood youth intensive services.
Oh, wow.
So it's ages
Epic.
it's ages typically 16 to 24, and with like high mental health needs, basically, that are like transitioning to adulthood, and for whatever reason it is, like having like more struggles than like the average person because of their mental health needs. And so it's a therapist position within that program. I'm so excited.
Becca, that's great.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I think it sounds amazing, and it's a community based, so it's rather than like having sessions like in an office building somewhere, it's like going out to their homes and maybe going out for coffee.
Oh, Becca,
or
that's
going for a drive.
Oh my gosh.
And like doing therapy sessions in that frame. And
that's like perfect for you.
The way it's been,
That's like
the way it's been just, I know.
Like this is like
It sounds really intense. It sounds like there's a lot of like high suicidality, and like that like type of tendency, and then other like major depressive disorder and like other like high mental health needs like that. But yeah, if I can convince someone to hire me, I think it's gonna be like the perfect job. And it's so cool because it's addressing like where these youth are at. So it's like if they need help applying for a job or getting into independent housing, like it's just meeting them where their need currently is. And so you're working with like a lot of different resources within this program with providing them with services, and it just sounds so cool. I'm more excited about this job than any other job that
I feel your vibe. I feel your vibe with it, and I think that's your jam.
It sounds amazing.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you. I'm really nervous for the interview.
Well, yeah, as you should be, but I think your excitement's gonna it's gonna win. Like, there's certain things in your life where you don't have to prove yourself; it just is. And I think this is one of those things. I could be wrong.
Yeah, we'll see.
But like the best things in my life and things that have worked out for me, I didn't have to prove myself.
I mean, so
does that make sense?
On a group level, it's a forming stage, right? So
yeah.
It's like there is a little bit of like a
gotcha.
I have to introduce myself and
yes.
like I have to show up. You know
to show up. I mean? Yeah. There's that pressure.
And
yeah.
Like once I get past that, then I feel like yes, like exactly what you're just saying.
Well, it's all part of it, right?
So I talked with the program director the other day for not long. She wanted to check in with me before the interview to make sure I was still interested in the position, because she's like, this position is not for everybody, so she wanted to describe it to me in a little bit more detail so that I like understood the dynamics of it, and that there's a lot of movement and like, you know, it's very dynamic, it sounds like, which I love that about it, but for a lot of people that wouldn't be a good fit. And so she just wanted to call and check in about that. And she asked me if I had any questions, but her call caught me off guard. So I wasn't expecting it. So I didn't have any questions prepared. I hadn't like heard from the organization after sending my application in. So I wasn't like ready with questions. But I was able to ask her, because one thing that I have that's been coming up for me a lot as I like go through my applications is that I don't have as much. I have a lot of the skills and the knowledge, but I don't have as much like applied skills. So like I haven't had as many opportunities to like apply my skills in direct service. And I asked her about that, and I basically was transparent about that, and I was like, so like as a recent graduate like student, I don't have very much, like you would see this on my resume, like I don't have as much like applied like skills training, I guess. And will that be an issue? And she basically said that she doesn't think it will be. She was like, there's a lot of support within this program, and it's not for everybody, but like the nature of it is very team oriented, and there's like constantly group text going like within the team, and like there's always support basically. So it sounds like ideal.
Becca, you're winning.
Thank you.
You're
I do think he has the same word.
Yeah, he does. You're in full participation with the flow of your life, and it is nerve-wracking.
Yeah, super nerve-wracking.
And it's awesome. Like
it's crazy to me that I qualify for this job.
As a friend from the outside looking in, you're in your jam. You're doing all the right things.
Thank you.
And it's scary. I get it.
It's super scary.
I'm here to validate you. Yeah. Like,
I mean, there's a chance that I won't get it, right? So like that's also part of like the fear.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Is it?
And I know then that it's not about me. It's like probably about them and somebody else. You know, that just means that they found somebody that they thought was a better fit. It doesn't necessarily mean that I didn't meet the bill.
I'm curious if like our relationship, have we gone through the storming?
You've mentioned that before, that you don't feel like there's ever been a time where we've like really had like a conflict. I feel like we've had like seconds and we sorted out super quickly. It's never been like a period of storming. It's been like a minute of storming and then we quickly process. Yeah. Because like, no,
that's accurate.
Like recently, right? And then I would just like the day that I was feeling like left out of the group.
And we just like cleaned it up.
Yeah, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna be transparent about this, and I just told you what I was experiencing, and then you were like, okay, thank you for that feedback. Like I don't want to make you feel that way, and we both just kind of processed it.
We can clean it up really.
And we saw it to the end of its phase, you know, like we saw it through. It wasn't just like an acknowledgement and then nothing else. Like you acknowledged it and then like we worked through it.
Yeah. I think that's special with us.
Yeah.
Our friendship.
There's never been a period. It's just been instances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that friendship that we have.
Yeah.
That's rare.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
We communicate very well together, I think.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. and that's hard to come by.
It is.
Or like you have somebody that you can like consistently communicate well with.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that. I'm like, I don't think I've ever really stormed with Becca. But yeah, like you said, you hit it. You hit it well.
And when we have, it's been, I feel like, group oriented. Like it's more when there's other people involved.
Yeah, and it's so short that it I don't remember it.
Right.
You know, like
Right.
when you have an imprint of like, oh man, that was a thing
That was
with so and so,
Yeah,
is because it's like this long drawn out thing.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of unique that our connection. My friend Bela is the same way. Best friend from college that we worked at the restaurant together. We just click so well. Like,
Yeah.
and we were
So nice.
yeah, that's rare, and so I appreciate our friendship. So thank you for, what do we call each other? The cantina, the cosmic cantina buddies. What is it? The
don't remember.
adventure
There's, like, so many
cantina
words.
cosmic. We just kind of go
For
do our
life.
for life. We kind of do our own thing, and then we come back like, hey, how's it going? Hey.
And I love that we like often can like go into groups together and like
Yeah.
still be there for each other and experiencing the group at the same time.
Yeah, well said.
When we've entered groups together, like I feel like it's been that in that way.
Yeah.
Like we're still with each other and independent at the same time, which is really cool.
Yeah. I'm excited for you and Katie to do my horse session.
Yeah, which will be so. And Katie and I want to like make it clear that that it's not like an equine therapy session. It's like a
Whatever
it's
needs
like
to
a
happen.
learning.
Got it.
It's a learning
Totally cool.
experience. Yeah.
With whatever is flowing.
Yeah.
it-
And that being said, whatever comes up comes up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
I just don't want to like get in the way of my own like licensure and stuff, you know, by like calling it something that's not, you know.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
so
gonna
we,
we're
like-
gonna hang out with horses together.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah, it's a learning experience for all of us.
Yeah. I would love that.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
how
psyched.
well, and it gives me, I like that entry point
Yeah, no, I think it's perfect.
better than this like yeah.
Yeah.
A labeled thing
Out of
or
like,
descriptive thing. Yeah.
And I haven't like facilitated within the model in a really long time, so I'm really excited for that because I heckin' love this model. Like I love it. I mean, you know, I get
I know. And I'm excited to go through the training in September. She texted me saying I'm in.
yeah,
like it's happening.
She messaged me too, and she said that she got it like that. You need to appreciate that because it's not normal.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
It's so great that
Okay.
she has that connection and is able to make that happen for you. 'Cause
I
that-
understand where you're coming from
that's a
because
special.
I don't know what I don't know, but I know enough to know on a different end of a different way. Like
Yeah,
that's
typically
what a big.
you would have to go through with the fundamentals training, which is like a $2,000 training, and so they're allowing you to skip that. Basically, is what that means.
Okay. I need to call her.
They're allowing like she has a friend within like the leadership team that it sounds like that. Like they're allowing you to like skip the fundamentals training and like go straight to the corporate training.
What's your current vibe? I'm feeling a little hungry.
Time to-
I'm recording because
Well, I don't know if I don't want to mispronounce things. Do you know that?
I have no
you know
idea.
What I'm talking about?
Nope.
But yeah, it's like apathy, but with the.
yeah. Define that again because that was really well.
So
said.
it's like I don't know how it's pronounced, but it's spelled like apatheism. But I've always said it apatheism, and it's like you yourself not necessarily like aligning with one spiritual belief system, but getting excited with others who do. So it's like one of my best friends is like a very spiritual person, and like went to Multnomah College, and did very Bible oriented.
Yeah.
And I love that about her, and
Uh-huh.
I like get excited talking to her about it, and I am not at all, and I'm like not a spiritual person in the slightest. That's what it is. That's all. My point being that I will not be triggered by you referencing a Bible verse. Yeah.
In fact, she'll get excited
Yeah.
because it's your favorite
if
Bible
you're-
verse.
I mean, that's you, because I hesitate to talk about what I want to talk about. So you saying that like just gives
allows
me
you to talk about it.
yeah, creating access, which was the whole point. Like there's something about the word access that's important.
It's super important.
Yeah,
You've said that before. That was something when I was feeling that way that one day, and then I shared how I was feeling. You were like, "Thank you for saying that," because that allows me to share when I'm feeling that way. Yeah. Transparency. Transparency.
Permission to be.
Permission to be. And I feel permission to be with both of you. And I'm really excited about that we're all together. Luke, can we acknowledge for a second our friendship? Dude. No. I mean, come on. We've been through some stuff. Not like me and him through hard times. Me and Luke are like you and me. Like, we don't storm longly.
Sure, it's like breeze storm.
We storm shortly.
Yeah.
We breeze.
It's like in Central Oregon when the storms just kind of roll over.
Appreciate you, man. I do. Yeah, dude. You make me happy. To process theology.
Were you guys ever fans of Newsies?
I never saw that. It's with Christian Bale, though. I'm a big fan of Christian Bale.
That's true about it.
Yeah.
There's this one song,
I've seen it before.
High Times, Hard Times. High Times, Hard Times.
Huh?
Dun, 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 dun,
I didn't know
dun,
Christian Bale was in that.
dun. He's the main character in the movie.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's funny.
Yep. He's a baby. It was like one of the,
Yeah.
He was like 18.
Yeah.
Little cutie. I didn't realize
Baby.
it until recently either, because like when I saw it when I was younger, it wasn't Christian Bale. It was just some guy. But I always land on my feet. So when there's dry times, I look for high times again. I put on my best and I stick off my chest and we're off to the races again.
Dude, that you just defined process.
it good?
You just defined
Yeah.
process theology.
Something that you guys said made me think of that song. That's why I wanted to bring it up.
Can you sing it again? That's process theology in a song. I'm not even kidding you.
So when there's dry times, I look for high times again. I put on my best and I stick out my chest and we're off to the races again. I think I flipped the lines, but that's okay.
No, it's all about next mentality.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
past is the past.
Yeah. And we're off to the races
Yes.
again.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You said something that made me think about something.
That-
But I wasn't really listening, but I was listening enough to hear something that
Which
triggered
is
that song.
you just proved the point of process theology
Oh, cool.
in a weird indirect way.
Yeah.
Dude, that's exciting. Can you sing it one more time? I'm like happy.
So when there's dry times, I look for high times again. I put on my best and I stick out my chest and we're off to the
Races again. Hey, Luke is a theater expert.
I'm it's retweet.
Luke, you are magic.
It's funny,
my friend.
earlier you kept like singing like every time anybody would say something, you'd come up with a song to it, and I do that all the time. And like this Shane, the guy I've been hanging out with, was like, he recently was like, "You're a very musical person," and it's because like every time anybody says anything, I think of a song that relates to it.
Music-
Oh, yeah.
And
music-
you were doing it earlier, and I was like, "That's
music's
my normal
important.
group role." I was like, I feel now. Who am I? It like gave me an identity crisis.
Yeah, your ego.
Because I was like, that's my
thing.
My
No,
role.
it can't be somebody else's thing.
That's who I am in the group. What do I do?
Threatened. Mayday. Mayday.
Yeah.
Be yourself.
What do
I
I
love Aladdin.
Be
yourself.
It's like it's a great message. It's so true though.
Recently I was with Stacy, who's one of my best friends in the whole world, and we just like watched our favorite parts of Disney movies. I think I just did a lot of rabbit holes. I'm sorry.
Dude, I love that. I love rabbit trails. I'm a big fan. It's a process theology.
We already covered it. Dry times, look for high times, off to the races.
Like now I just have to put it. I just have to put it in like boring word form. It's already covered.
But go ahead and mansplain it.
I'm gonna look up the words of that song.
That's why I love you, Luke, man.
I'm just gonna step back so you can.
I haven't listened to that song in probably like 15 years. Oh, sometimes the living is
So when everything gets figured out, can we just like
there's nothing to eat.
live in a cabin together and knit sweaters?
Hey, I was right. I
knit
put on my
knit
best
Christmas
outfit, got my
ugly
dress.
Christmas sweaters for our strange weird dance parties that we do.
I had too many tots.
You guys, I got the words right. I just want that to be known.
Can I ask you my 2 questions?
Yes.
The job you're interviewing for tomorrow.
Yes.
What excites you and what frightens you?
Okay. I have a good answer for frightened, so I feel like that one's going to come out faster, so I'm going to say that one. And
I'm gonna
the,
steal that.
Yeah.
Are you facilitating her?
No, I just
I think
want
he's
to know.
just being curious. What makes me nervous about it is that I have had limited clinical experience. It's a clinical job, and so I have the skills and I have the credentials and I'm qualified for it theoretically, and I recognize that I have limited experience, and so I really see my own limitations, and so that scares me a bit about it. And it's more a bit of a fear of failure up front. I know that I can do it and recognize that there will be failure initially if I get the job, and failure in that they might say no, in the hiring process because of that. But then also they see me on paper, so they know that I have a limited experience. So then it's just hitting the answers, right? So that's what scares me. And then what excites me about it is it's the exact population that I want to work with. In a lot of ways. So it's transitional age youth intensive services. So it's ages 16 to 24, so transitioning into adulthood, who are struggling with that transition due to mental health reasons. And a lot of times it's going to be suicidality. That could also be substance use. That could be major depressive disorder. It could be bipolar disorder. It's just a mental health. I don't know the cases. So it could be a whole on slew of problems. But I'm really excited about that age group. I'm really excited about it. I'm also just based on the few interactions that I've had with the team at this organization. I feel like our communication is well matched. And that excites me about it because I feel like that can be hard to find. And so I talked with the program director yesterday. And then her phone call caught me off guard, so I didn't have questions prepared. And so then I sent a follow-up email afterward with some questions that I had after I had a minute to be okay. And then I sent her an email with some questions, and then she just sent me her answers at 4:30. So we were out on the water, and they're so good. The answers are all so good. I've when I lived in California. So I lived in California for a year between May of 2017 and June of 2017 to July of 2018, somewhere in that zone. And so for that year, and I was working with at-risk youth that were in residential treatment. Okay. And I worked specifically with teenage girls who had experienced sexual exploitation and facilitated equine assisted psychotherapy with that population, and they were ages 13 to 18. So that's where I've worked the most within this demographic, within mental health. And then also I've worked with college age students within more team building, outdoor.
Yeah.
So process theology
I see it.
Yeah. I hear it. I heard it.
is just give me 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it all connects to everything we've been talking about.
It's all going to come full circle.
So this dude, this professor at a certain college, was spouting these quantum mechanics before that was even a thing that was in conversation. He was ahead of his time. Something Whitehead, I don't remember his name, but I think it was Columbia University in the early 20s. All that aside, students were reported this babbling old man, what's he talking about? And then he wrote this really thick book called Process Reality. And so what he tried to navigate was how to make sense of what is real. And he was ahead of his time. He's like a theologian, philosopher, professor at a college, quantum physicist before that was even a thing. Like he was interested in quantum physicist stuff, and he took all that together and hypothesized that maybe reality is every point of connection. Anytime connection happens, that's what's real, like real connection. And then from that moves into a different avenue. So he kind of threw out the idea that the concept of God, which is if you actually study, I minored in philosophy, like if you dig into philosophy, God is a topic. Like the idea of God is a topic that on an academic level is processed. So his idea is that his concept of God is in real time ahead of us every 12th of a second based on everyone's decision around the world in real time. So whatever choice you make and Becca makes and I make and the whole world makes, God, however you want to define that, is the ultimate mathematician to put forth the best opportunity or choice that you get to make right now. Every 12th of a second, actually. So ahead of you actually being able to make a choice, it's already there, like a lure for a fish to bite. Like you already the best choice is always before you, is basically his idea. And it's better to lean into that than trying to create the next best choice for you based on your own like finite perspective of things, but to surrender to the infinite perspective and then kind of tune into what's the infinite thing before me and lean into that now, like now moment, now, or before, like already happened. That's how fast it is.
But not before, because it's always ahead.
So you can't lose. So that's where I want to talk to you about stagnation. Like I think it's all about
They're just taking pictures.
whatever opens your mind and your heart to yeah, okay, exactly, yes, to receive. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Double rainbow, yeah.
Choices, see the double rainbow.
Yeah, this is okay. We're in the 12th of the second.
Oh yeah, I see it. You can actually see it on the camera.
This is exact.
Wow.
So this proves the point of process theology. Process reality is happening right now.
I look over and there's like 4 people taking photos. I was like,
This is where I shut up and let things go. Exactly. Yeah, dude. Brother, that's what I'm talking about, dude. With everything, yeah. It's like, that's the space I want to live in. And it just happened. So...
Oh, you can even see it from right here.
Love you, brother.
There it is.
Just want to get this moment captured because all is well. Hopefully.
Yeah,
well.
it is. Better than well.
Better than well.
Yeah.
So many layers.